Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ask Catch World Cup. This is our 2017 one. My name is Z-Trot, and I'm also joined by JBH Hyperion today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, thanks, man. I'm looking forward to new year, new teams, and new excitement.
Yes, and as with the start of any tournament, we are about to get into our drawing phase. And of course, if you've been here with us before, you know how this goes. We're going to be going through the teams. We have 32 of them this time, so there's quite a bit. We'll be going through each one of those and getting them into brackets and just enjoying the shuffle gamble here as we get further on. But this one is going to be exciting. We're going to try to lay low on the fruit puns for a little bit. We will spare you guys during the live drawings, but
just for a little second.
Yeah,
just for a
second. But no holds barred when it comes to group stage. We're going to get you with our very best.
He lied. He's on that already.
I cannot.
Started already.
Yeah, and we also have Lactav with us, as always, for the drawings, and he'll be going through and explaining everything as we see them. And I'm really hoping to see some really evil matchups in group stage, because why not?
But if Taiko World Cup was anything to go by, group stage could be killer.
Am I too loud? Is that an excuse for that? I make myself a bit quieter.
Nah, it's okay.
I can't check myself, so it's a bit retarded to set up. It's hard to do. Like always with the drawings, for the people that turn in for the first time, we split up the teams, or all 32 teams, into 4 seats: no seat, low seat, high seat, and top seat. And the seating is determined by the performance points of the top 3 of the respective. Not of the entire team. So only the 3 best are used to calculate an average, and then we sort them by their performance. It's simple. Maybe it's not so accurate, but it's the only metric we have available that's standardized, so it's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, and I guess, do you want to go ahead and run through those while you're getting everything set up? I can go through top, high, low, and unseated real fast.
I have actually everything prepared already.
Oh, well then, along with the show, no delays.
No delays, I just need to open the file here, okay, so I can read it out because it's a rolling thing. Okay, let me move over. Okay, the mouse is a bit laggy, but let's move over to the drawing side, which is, by the way, really fancy compared to last year. And look, we were using the laser one again, do you remember?
It's a whole lot. I mean, the evolution of the drawings client.
It's pretty. I mean, like, yeah, that was a stupid thing. Okay. Okay, this is drawings client. We're traditionally starting at the low seat. The no-seated teams, which are the Philippines, Malaysia, Hungary, Singapore, Denmark, Austria, New Zealand, and Venezuela this year.
All right.
This is the second time I used this client. The last time I used it was for the Taiko World Cup. So if shit explodes, it didn't explode last time, but maybe it does this time. I know my luck.
Yes. We do have to just give you that fair warning that volatile systems are in use. Stuff can go wrong.
It's all development stage shenanigans. Is the music too loud? I don't think so. Maybe you just need to turn yourself up. I don't know. I made it down a bit. So let's see. I lowered it by 50% of what it is now. Maybe I just made myself too quiet. I don't know. Who cares? Let's just go with that.
Yeah, I think you're doing all right there.
We're getting everything out of the way at the beginning, so.
Okay, let's start. I just started shuffling, and we see who's arriving. We have 8 groups: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and we start distributing them across these 8, and then we load up the higher seed and rinse repeat until we are done.
And then dreams are broken and devastation is realized when teams see who they
Probably.
have to go against.
Probably.
Alright, so let's see who you end up shuffling in for Group A.
Let's start the roulette. I can just talk louder. I think that helps.
Hey, JBH.
I can't lower it anymore. It's already on 1%. Like,
we usually got a guessing game going here. It gets easier as the teams run out, but Deadbeat's got a pretty good track record on picking these. Oh, okay, there he goes.
Keep him out to lay the bets on then.
Okay, I'm making it stop now, and we are having Denmark.
All right, Denmark.
Not Austria.
That is not Austria. You fail.
That prediction out the window already.
All right, so a little bit of information about Denmark real quick to run over. This team is looking to finally surpass the group stage. They've had a lot of problems doing that. It's been 3 times in a row they've come to the stage. While the roster isn't going to make any major headlines, they do have a couple of useful mod specialists in Sharpen with Hard Rock, and I do believe that's Wormy with Hidden. But it's kind of a lower level, but I'm hoping to see the extra determination can drive them beyond expectations. I mean, they are one of the unseeded teams, so it's going to be a little bit harder for them to kind of rise up, but I definitely think that there is something there. It will be interesting to see if they can climb out of group stage this year. 3rd time's the charm. Well, I mean, technically this is the 4th time, so...
Group stage is the place where upsets are made, so anything can really happen.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, we've seen crazier stuff like that. Conflicts with schedules, people's computers exploding, keyboards being destroyed. All right, though, I do believe we can shuffle on to see who's going to be in the low unseeded for Group B.
Yeah, like I will just click. The button is called Begin Random, so. I mean, like, I can't yell into the microphone, else we are too loud, music too low, this too loud, this too low. It's just your local volume settings. If you don't understand it, use a headset. I don't know, I understand everything perfectly fine. Alright, okay, I'm stopping. And we're having New Zealand. Deadbeat. What are you saying about that?
Oh man, I really
Welcome
wish we could,
back.
I really wish we could make Deadbeat read this description, but this one's for JB.
Well, Deadbeat wanted to prematurely issue New Zealand the participation award, so try and do them a little more favours than that. So although their roster isn't particularly strong, they're going to be looking to try their best and really make an impact here. They've got some remarkable names from previous years, like Karma, Kiwi and Sakurano, who they'll be relying on to make their majority of their plays to really anchor their team. But without any real specialties in terms of mods, I think Hidden and No Mod are going to be their best options for success.
Yeah, and unfortunately that is a lot of... that doesn't give you much wiggle room in group stage because you've got everybody kind of trying everything. The map pools aren't as hard, so you have a little bit of leeway so you can do some crazier stuff. And that's usually why we see as many upsets. But yeah, not having too much strength in the mod brackets is really going to hurt them there. But hopefully they will be able to make some kind of leeway in the group stage. Maybe see them pop out of there for the first time. What's up?
Honestly, I don't know about getting out of group stage. That one will be tricky.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I think for now, like, the aim is just to take down the low seed. I think that's like the big goal for now, and then just hope that we can do well against the high seed team.
Alright, cool. And whenever you're ready to roll that beautiful flag footage, Lockhead, we're ready for Group C.
The Philippines.
Oh,
Did I mute myself? No, I didn't.
okay.
I have a button on my headset. I don't always forget if I press that. So, okay, begin random. Greetings to Crowley, who's apparently deaf. We agreed on that on the participants Discord. So, here we have Malaysia in Group C.
You're doing well today.
No, you just, it ain't working for you, man. All right, so a little bit of information on Malaysia. They have pretty strong and useful players in the Hidden and Hard Rock area without really excelling, but it is noted that they are able to do that. They don't have to rely, they're going to have to rely heavily on their veterans, Shadowfear and Future Miku 95, to put up a competitive showing. That shouldn't be counted out though. You definitely need to give them credit where credit's due. Expect them to take a point or two from their opponents and spice up their matches at the very least. I feel like Malaysia might be able to get out of the group stage this year. I do believe.
I think they're definitely a team that could put up a bit of a surprise. They don't have huge players in terms of specialty, but they're usually very consistent, and I think that will be rewarded in group stages where the chance to make a mistake and that one mistake could cost the whole team hugely could come into play.
Yeah, and that's the best part about group stage, because precision there, the maps are easier, and the precision's going to be that much better, and there's been adjustments to the scoring metric and everything like that, so things are going to be a little bit different. The landscape's going to be changed, and it is going to allow for people that we might not think making it through might actually see, something go through. And I am being told to speak louder and prouder and firmer, so I'm going to give that a shot. But with that being said, here's hoping that Malaysia does do well in the group stage as we move on to Group D.
D.
Such
Okay.
children.
I'd say Denmark, but Mexico.
You say Mexico. I say, let's see what I say. I say Singapore.
Hungry.
Too late. Too late. Way too late. It's Singapore.
It was Singapore.
Yes.
So Singapore slotting into Group D. They performed really well last year to make the semi-finals, but I think that they'll struggle to repeat that performance with a pretty inexperienced team this year. Young Erica and Excel are really going to have to be on point to boost their team through Hard Rock and Double Time, which are potentially their weaker suits, though they have a pretty strong showing in Hidden, so I'd expect a lot of Hidden picks from them.
Boy.
Okay.
Well, I mean, something I could talk about with that, like Hidden being something that they can use to progress. Do we want to go over that lock tab at all, or probably not enough time during the live drawings to really go over that? But Hidden's not going to be as big a factor so much, so it's really going to change the landscape for a lot of these people. I believe it is.
I mean, like Hidden, they're still Hidden pool, so yeah. If they excel in that and they can outplay the other team with simply picking Hidden when the others are just not so good in that. Other than that, if you pick Hidden within the Hard Rock or Double Time pool, it's merely a selection for those that find it with Hidden easier than without.
Yeah, so it's only.
So it's
really
literally just convenience feature in all other pools. They don't give score bonuses anymore.
Yeah, the only time it's going to be weighted is when it's actually in the Hidden pool being played, correct?
Yeah, that's where the actual effect kicks in, where it gets tactical, or like a tactical selection. Especially since the Hidden pools are selected around,
The ability
selected
to play
around
Hidden.
that it's
Yeah.
hard with Hidden, harder
Yeah,
and
like the
easier.
actual mod is taken into consideration instead of just slapping it on top.
Yeah, basically.
Alright, let's see who we have for Group E.
Group E. Oh, yeah, I don't have so many people left. Austria, I see, Hungary, Philippines, and Venezuela, right? Yeah. On the
I'm
speeding
Call Austria now.
Austria,
Yep, that's my call. I'm gonna see
the
if I can
country
get
with the
one.
ostriches and kangaroo.
No, Austria.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Oh, okay. No, see, because my pronunciation's not always the best, so I'm not. Like, I'm expecting. Wait, does he think I'm saying Australia, or is he messing
No.
with me?
So the shuffle decided for Philippines.
Oh. All
Is it
right.
Italy? All right, never mind. I mix up Italy and Hungary sometimes.
All right. Now the Philippines, they're missing out on one of the world's strongest players, Chara. The Philippines is not looking all too solid this year because of that. Last year's composure of the team was stronger, but due to the team only having 3 members, they forfeited multiple of their matches due to the lack of available players, and that is something that is very unfortunate, but it does happen. I feel like the Philippines are going to mostly rely on the no mod, with fewer experience on the other mods, seeing as that's pretty much how they're going to have to do it this year. At least that's the way I think.
The loss of Chara, or the not kind of participation of Chara, is a huge blow to their team.
Yeah, I mean,
so they're really looking to kind of put on the best of the bad situation, I think, here.
yeah, and I mean, if they stick to Nomad, if they're able to play in a situation where Nomad is something they can amass points on, especially with group stage only taking 4 to win, then they should be fine. But at that same time, with you only getting 1 ban now, the possibility of seeing more mod picks is very relevant. They're going to have to watch out for that moving forward. All right, I guess we can go ahead and shuffle into Group F.
I think so too. Let's see who we got. 3 teams remaining.
Yeah.
And
I just
it's
don't
actually
feel like,
Hungary. People confuse me.
Um,
It's actually Hungary. I typed in Hungary into the file. It's Hungary. Like, it must be Hungary.
I'm so hungry.
Oh God, please.
Yeah, I mean, especially talking about a cup that's nothing but fruits, you know, that doesn't just get the appetite going.
I got baited. Okay, we have Venezuela as
Oh.
team in Group F.
Okay, so Venezuela slotting into Group F, competing in their second Catch World Cup. I think they're going to be heavily depending on their captain, ISW, who has really elevated the ranking of the team. I don't think they'd be close to qualifying without him, honestly. They're probably going to prefer Hidden in terms of mod selection, but I really don't know much about this group of players, so I have no idea what to expect from the rest of the team.
So, kind of like a wild card. And we actually did a lot of research this time and got quite a bit of information on the players, and Venezuela is just one that they're kind of unknown. They're a little bit in the shadows, which can make for some really interesting plays. These guys might come out and wow us.
Yeah, you never know. Anything can happen, and I'd really like to see some upsets and some surprises. So, keeping my fingers crossed for that from Venezuela or from any other team, really.
The last 2 flags we have for Group G and Group H look very confusing when they're the only 2 there.
So we pick between green and red at the bottom.
Pretty much.
What color is the flag?
So which is which? Especially when he speeds up, it's almost like it's causing some optical illusion.
Oh, man.
So we are having in Group G, Austria.
All right, so a little bit of information about Austria. Now, 2017 marks a return to the world stage for Austria after failing to qualify for the final 32 last year. Some useful DT players might give them an unexpected edge over the other teams in the group stage. Though, with little else in the way of mod specialization, they'll be relying on return to form from some of their more seasoned players to bolster performance. So, basically here, they might be able to do it. They did get in this year, which is great compared to last year. They weren't able to make the cut. But if DT is going to be their only thing here, they are definitely going to have to try hard, as group stage is going to be something where you can capitalize on making points with no mod plays pretty easily. But it should be interesting. I hope to see them make it through, or at least put up a pretty decent fight.
They traditionally have some good DT players in Frozen Cookie, Kazu, and Kazumi-kun, but they've not been so active in recent months, so I have no idea whether they'll be at peak performance to perform at their kind of previous best. So, not sure what to expect, really, but I'm not going to count them out at all. If they put on a good fight, if they're on form, then they could surprise some people, I think.
All right, and for Group H,
I think
Big surprise. Let me shuffle.
I'm
Hungary or Hungary?
Hungary. I'm thinking Hungary.
Yeah. I feel like the obvious choice is Hungary, yeah. So let's get into that.
Back on the board.
I had it in the guts that it's gonna be Hungary. So what do we know about that?
JB, you want to take
So Hungary are going to be captained again by Garati, and they have their full Hungary roster from 2016 making a reappearance with 2 new additions. So they have a full complement of 6 players. I think they'll perform pretty well in hidden and no mod pools, and maybe have some good performances in hard rock in the early stages. So they've got a good strength and depth this year, but I think DT is going to really pose a problem to them, so I expect other teams to pick that against them. They maybe have more chance of making it out of group stages than some of the other teams that are unseeded, but I'm not sure if that's going to materialize into a real threat.
Yeah, and Twitch chat is totally right. Hungary is full of a lot of hungry players looking to be at the top. Good job, guys. I'm glad that the puns are not wasted.
Thanks for doing our work for us, guys. Much appreciated.
Jesus. Okay, with that being said, we are starting to see the first encounters because I'm starting to load up the low-seeded teams.
All right, cool. And for our low-seeded teams, we'll be going through Argentina, Australia, Finland, Canada, Italy, Brazil, Norway, and Sweden.
Yeah, that's a lot of Scandinavian shenanigans going on here.
Yeah.
A part of Denmark. Like, let's see. And I believe we start simply and harmlessly with seeing who's facing Denmark. Maybe it's
right.
Sweden. Or Norway. Or Finland. I mean, like, the odds are high that it's going to be another Scandinavian team. And we are having... Oh, of all the odds, we have Brazil.
Oh,
Rip Scandinavian hype.
Okay. So Brazil, they received a true horror draw last year with Hong Kong and South Korea. So they'll be praying to the gods for a more benevolent group stage this time out. And it looks like they might be getting that. They got Hannik, Thanar, and Predometer at the core of their team, and they should perform strongly in hard rock and hidden with a decent amount of strength in depth, but not devoid of DT aptitude either. So they can be considered somewhat of an all-rounded team and should exploit this to make up for their lower overall skill ceiling. So group stage is where you guys want to shine. Definitely.
So Brazil maybe don't have any true excelling players, but they cover a lot of bases. So I think they'll be well to react and adapt to any situation that other teams can throw at them, which will work in their favor. Very
much so. All right, now we get to see who's going to be meeting up with New Zealand in Group B.
And I started. I'm starting the wheel. So let's see. New Zealand is going to face Sweden.
You got the wrong group, Sweden. Hype is ruined.
Aww.
So, Sweden this year are looking pretty decently skilled, but I think they're probably going to struggle to compete with some of the really strong teams because a lot of their team has been pretty inactive throughout 2016. Satomi is really their kind of core player that a lot of other teams are going to be kind of afraid of and not wanting to perform at his best. They perform pretty solid at hard rock, but their other mods are probably not quite up to that same standard.
Yeah, and with DT and hitting only seeing one potential ban, that is going to be something they might want to work on here, especially when they get a chance to practice the map pools. Definitely put some time investment into it, and it might take you far. With that being said, we can look at what Malaysia is going to be facing up against in Group C in just a moment.
Please hold the line. No.
Your draw is important to us.
While you're waiting, please fill the survey. Yeah, we're gonna have with Malaysia together in Group C. Italy.
Italy, all right. Italy has actually got a pretty strong but inconsistent team this year around. Pizza King, having played in a multitude of CWCs now, has the addition of Arma and Kairon to play along with. The other players, however, don't really seem to have the capacity to keep up with these two Hard Rock and Double Time monsters. The strongest mods, Hard Rock and Double Time, but not the best coverage on Hidden. So they are looking in some of the stronger plays here, and with the changes to Hidden, this might help them out. But it is kind of an inconsistent team, as they do have someone who's an older veteran, but they're also bringing in a couple other people that don't seem to have the capacity for it. But it should still be interesting nonetheless. I'm actually looking quite forward to it.
Italy seem like a bit of a wild card, being a low-seeded team, because, as you said, Pizzican, Arma, and Karim are insanely experienced and good players. But if any one of those three isn't available or not performing at peak, then they really don't have much depth to kind of replace those players and fill in the gaps. So they could either destroy their group or really fall apart at the seams.
Yeah, and that is not something you really want to be doing in the group stages. But that being said, now we can move over to Group D to see who are actually...
Who's the first opponent of Singapore?
Yes, there we go.
Without making further juvenile jokes.
Yes. No more juvenile jokes.
Pretty please.
With a cherry on top, right?
Yes. And we are having Australia. Convenient.
Okay, so Australia did pretty well last year, managed to take a point from every team in their group despite not winning a match. And I think they'll be hoping to at least repeat that competitiveness this time around. Their team is really stacked as far as Hidden is concerned, with almost all their players performing well with the mod. Hard Rock, maybe not quite so much, but they could still put up a good fight, but DT is probably going to cause them some headaches.
And not the good kind of headaches.
No, not especially.
All right, that being said, about Australia, we can move on to Group E with the Philippines.
Philippines versus... Drum roll.
Canada.
Drum roll.
I'm not drumming on my desk. That would be so annoying.
Now we have Finland.
Finland. All right, so let's go ahead and give some information on Finland. Finland actually has a pretty strong top three with a significant hard rock expertise. Belly, a lack of depth in other areas, but like DT, but you have to expect other teams to target this. Additionally, a lack of availability of any of their top three could significantly turn the favor against them. They do have the potential to be at least competitive, but I wouldn't expect them to make an impact in the later rounds of the tournament. So definitely keep an eye on them around group stage. But if they manage to climb, you definitely got to give hats off to them. You know, but if they manage to climb past the round of 16, I don't foresee too much going past that.
Yeah, Finland are in a similar position to Italy, with a pretty experienced top three that could compete on the world stage. But if any of those are unavailable, they're going to really suffer. Probably not quite as high a skill ceiling as Italy, but should be considered fairly similar in most regards to the Italian team.
Yeah, bathroom breaks for some of these teams is just not going to be an option.
Denied.
All right, so with Group F, we will now see who meets Venezuela.
Alright, let me shuffle this thing. Only have Norway, Canada, and Argentina left. Yes. And we are having... Norway.
Okay, so Norway slotting into Group F. Despite possessing a solid overall ranking and some experienced tournament players with Camera God, Agroex, and Mile, they're kind of lacking in any real mod specialists outside of Hidden, and I'm pretty sure other teams are going to exploit this to their detriment. So I'm not expecting them to make it into the knockout week, unfortunately.
No knockout week for you.
I think they're another team that's really missing some of their really experienced older players in Azadith and Razor Sharp from previous years.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but you know, people do move on, and they expect those slots to be filled with other rising greats, but only you guys, the players, can.
Yeah, you can only kind of put the team together that you've got on hand, so you can only do the best with what you have.
Exactly. All right, now we should be going into our Group G to see who. I'm not good with these very strange. I know they're actually the way you do them every time, Lockhead, so I apologize. But I don't
Austria?
know what AT is that Austria?
Still-
Okay.
Yeah, the German-speaking country that is not
At
Germany.
least we have a good contrast between Canada and Argentina flags this time. At least.
Yes. I know Argentina's flag very well, and same with Canada.
Not Canada's.
Oh, come on, seriously?
Okay, at least you know the country's on your own continent. That's
Yes.
good. That's always a plus.
I'd feel really bad if I didn't know what the Canadian flag looked like.
Well, there are people that don't know how the US flag looks like, so kudos for that.
Understand, but like I have a big old Canada flag on my maple syrup, so it's like
And-
impossible not to know.
And coincidentally, we picked Canada for Group G.
All right. Now, as much as we were talking about the delicious maple syrup, Canada is one of the downgraded teams compared to the previous year. But still not all too bad. The team captain Fee has made some progress in their skill level, having become a decent double-time and hard rock player. But it all depends on the rest of the Canadian team and whether they'll be able to keep up. No specific mods are really here for these teams. They don't really excel in anything, but they're not bad in anything either. It's kind of like a mediocre jack of all trades.
Yeah, Canada are really going to struggle, I think, without Kip Torek and Dubak, some of their experienced players from previous years. But I'm hoping that Fee can step up and really lead the team back towards the higher seeding this time around.
All right, and not that it's impossible here, but I'm pretty sure Argentina is going to be in Group
Yeah.
H.
Oh my god, this joke is really running lame over time. I mean, we did it last time already. Yeah, it's Argentina, obviously. So,
Can you speed
What?
that spinner up?
I can click stop and begin.
Ah, okay, cool. All right, JBH, let you go ahead and give a little bit of information about Argentina.
Okay, so Argentina reached finals week in 2016, losing out narrowly to China, eventual winners, I think. But they're really going to struggle to repeat that performance this year with a pretty fresh, new-look team. Force, there's the returning captain, and I think the only player from 2016. And they're going to rely heavily on him for the experience and consistency to really guide the rest of the team. They have some pretty solid hidden players. Their other mods aren't non-existent, but are weaker. And I think they're going to struggle to kind of relive the glory days this time around.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that they weren't able to kind of bring in their whole team. But Force definitely going to give them the insight that he has from the previous year. And hopefully that will work out good for him. And we could see him make it back into finals maybe this year.
We're also hoping for no rage quits in finals week from Argentinian players this time around.
Yes. Please.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Well, dark moments.
All right, so now we're going to be going over the high seed teams as Loctite
Yes.
gets those ready to shuffle up. Our high seed teams are as follows. We have Hong Kong, Germany, Russia, the United Kingdom, Taiwan, Netherlands, Mexico, and Romania.
Romania is actually the first time they ever had a team in any World Cup.
That is very interesting. I do believe we actually even have that notated. So congratulations, Romania, to making it to the world stage. I hope you guys have a lot of fun and enjoy the fruity goodness.
Hopefully throw up some surprises for everyone else who is not aware how strong the Romanian team might be.
Let's see who ends up in Group A, I suppose.
Yes.
And we are having...
All right. A little bit of information here about Taiwan. Let's go ahead and... Now, even though they're missing Eok, Taiwan still has a good shot at getting far in this year's CWC, having some excellent hard rock players, decent hidden coverage, and some underrated players as well. They lost in the quarterfinals last year against France, and they probably want more this year, so they're probably going to be aiming for the top.
I think Taiwan have a pretty
Who's
strong
not?
team. They should perform pretty decently through all stages of the tournament they're involved in. The only problem we're going to have with them is pronouncing some of their names, man. Strings of numbers and...
Just say E number and number dude 2, or I don't know. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, like, usually they are some kind of wordplay that they actually are some kind of sentences or meaning behind the numbers. Sometimes it's just their QQ number, so... maybe off.
As long as it makes sense to them, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
All right, now let's see who we have joining us in Group B.
And we are having the Russian Federation.
Okay, so Russian Federation will be looking to make some improvements from last year, where they, again, were unfortunate to meet China in the round of 16 losers bracket, who eventually went on to win the whole show. Unfortunately, they've only got Vaga Triple N remaining from their 2016 roster, and they're really going to be looking to some of their upcoming and improved players in Nelly and One Love, One Life in particular to muster a repeat performance from last year. They lack a few mod specialists, especially in the DT side, so I think they're going to heavily rely on Hidden and Hard Rock to avoid that kind of thorn in their side. But they should perform pretty solidly, and I'd expect them to at least make through group stage again this year.
Yes, and if they don't make it to the group stage, we will be internally sad. But moving on, we will get to Group C and find out who's going to be joining Malaysia and Italy.
Oh, the roulette is actually so colorful this time.
Yes, it is actually.
How many colors? Loving it. And we are having the Netherlands.
All right. Now, for the Netherlands here, this is a bolstered country that wasn't able to make it out of group stage in the previous year, and they're looking to have a better and more varied roster this year, being covered on almost every mod strongly. Some of their strong points are no mod, decent coverage on all the other mods, and yeah, that's pretty much everything for the Netherlands there.
So Netherlands will be definitely glad to have Bads123 joining their team after an initial kind of failed registration, or he wasn't allowed to sign up. I'm not sure what the details were there. But yeah, he's a very consistent hidden player. If he can perform well in the tournament setting, I don't think he's going to be missing much. And that consistency is really going to help their team out.
I'm getting told that Group C is pretty lethal right now. Are we currently picking the highest of each seed into the same group?
It looks like it might be. Let's see if Group D follows suit.
Hey, let's go. We are shuffling already.
All right.
Say. Tension. The thrill. I actually hate it when TV moderators are actually like pulling the results into the never-ending, But now I'm literally doing the same. So let's say we are having in Group D, Mexico.
Okay, so Mexico are boasting a pretty experienced roster this year, led by Ponchiwi. They're traditionally very strong in Hidden and Hard Rock, and although their team's seen a few replacements of players, I don't think this year's going to be any exception, so I'd expect a lot of Hidden and Hard Rock picks from them. They suffered a pretty tough draw last year against Argentina and then Taiwan in the round of 16 losers bracket, so I'm hoping that they're going to see a more profitable result this time out and really show their potential a bit better this time around.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see how well Mexico does. When we get to our Group E, we will see just what of our remaining 4 teams is going to be put up against the Philippines and Finland. Also, speaking about that, Locktab, as you're shuffling, I've always really liked the United Kingdom flag. Like we said, this one's really colorful, but in terms of just like flag design in general, the UK's got a really good flag.
You think?
I do, I like it.
Isn't it like actually just like 3 different flags combined?
Probably.
Yeah, it's UK, Scotland, and Northern Ireland all counterchanged on top of each other. Wales don't get
just
a
copy
dragon or
pasted on
anything.
top of each other.
We don't care about them. They don't deserve a flag.
Rude. Okay, let's see. We are having in Group E. Almost pressed the wrong button. We are having Hong Kong.
All right. Now Hong Kong's a very powerful hidden team. They have 3 core players: Alien Flybot, Latifa Sama, and Hynix. And they are on a very high level. They're also good in multiplayer for the most part. Very likely to come far in this tournament. And could probably also do some pretty decent DT plays. I don't know if we have too much information on their DT ability, but we do know they're absolutely scary. So definitely want to look out for Hong Kong this year to rise to the top.
Yeah, Hong Kong's real asset is their consistency. A lot of their team have great big match experience, don't very often crack under pressure, so it's going to be difficult to phase them out. In the group stages, they managed to beat South Korea 4-3 in a really classic tiebreaker last year, so I'm hoping for some great matches from them again.
All right, and now we'll find out who's going to be joining Venezuela and Norway in Group F.
Germany left, UK, and Romania.
Just trying to think with Group F. I don't really think they want any part of any of these teams that are left.
Yeah, well, that's going to be worse with the next round.
Yeah, that's very true. The final round is just that's
Oh god,
the
please
screen.
not these, not these. I don't want any of these. Okay, let's stop. And we are having Germany.
All right.
Okay, so Germany are really going to be looking to kind of shun the bridesmaids tag. So they've taken 3rd place in the last 2 CWCs, and they really want to get over the hurdle, push all the way, and finally make it to the grand final. They're pretty covered on most Nomad and DT plays, and a little bit of hidden. I don't know whether top 3 is really within their grasp this year, with a couple of key players missing, but they've always performed really well in tournaments and good consistency, so with determination, I think anything is possible from them.
All right. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I know that I don't think they have King Kevin with them, and he didn't really do too much last year either. And they did see a little bit of change in their roster, which is unfortunate. But I feel like they definitely can get outside of that 3rd place bracket. They can go for 2nd, possibly even 1st. But only time will tell. And that is something we don't have as we move on to Group G.
So just UK and Romania left for the last 2 high seed teams in groups G and H.
UK and Canada. There's too much red in Group G. I feel like it's just gonna like automatically put some blue in there. Although if Romania gets in there, that kind of solves the flag color problem too.
Let's see who we have, and we are having the United Kingdom.
All right, so it is the UK boys, and with the United Kingdom, they'll be looking to make it out of the group stage off on their own efforts for the first time with a noticeably stronger team than in the previous years. They should perform pretty competently in most mod pools, though not really excelling in any particular area may prove problematic for them going down the line.
Okay, so definitely an improvement over previous years. This is their kind of best chance they've ever had to really make an impression on the tournament, and I really hope they seize it with both hands. Again, they could get caught out a little bit, but I think they should be able to respond to most situations, so I'd expect them to win some matches this year at the very least.
Very much so. Hopefully things will get quite juicy as we continue on. Now we'll get in with Group H with Romania locking in that final slot.
Excellent. Got that.
And while we're locking that in, let's give a little bit of information on Romania. This is their first entry into the World Cup scene, and they're going in with a bang. Romania has always had impressive players, but never enough at once to form a qualifying team. Looking strong in hidden and hard rock pools in particular, though DT is by no means a weak suit either. Hopefully there are no schedule conflicts, as only having 4 members leaves a little room for replacements, but it is going to be absolutely crazy. These guys are strong. They've always been strong, but time is always played against them, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so to anyone who's kind of a bit surprised seeing Romania jumping straight in at high seed for their first World Cup, they have always had some real strong players, and it's just a real problem that they've not been able to form a complete team. So I think they're really going to try and make a great impression this year for their first ever time. But yeah, as you said, they've only got 4 players in their roster, not having the full complement of 6. So any schedule conflicts or illness or lack of form from them could be a huge thorn in their side.
Or natural disaster, or anything like that.
Yeah, also. No floods.
Meteors
sent their way.
striking from sky, alien invasion. Let's
I'm
consider
pretty sure
all.
nobody would care. If we had an alien invasion, no, I don't think anybody.
Let's cancel the CWC.
Localized alien invasion just in Romania. Rest of the world.
we just let them participate as own team or something. All right. With that being said, we are moving on to the last round of this drawings, and this is obviously the top seeded teams.
Yes, and this
Here
is
we are having. Here we are having Indonesia, Poland, France, Japan, the United States, Chile, China, and South Korea.
AKA, oh crap, please don't put us in any of our pools. Like, we already hear people talking in the Discord for the Catch World Cup, and some people are already freaking out, like, no, don't put them in Group C, or vice versa.
I already see people overly confused by Indonesia and Poland
being right next to each other.
It's beautiful.
I am hoping that we get Chile first, though.
Well, we
Really
will
hoping
find
for
out
that
with
one.
Group A. As
Well, this is where the remaining 24 teams have already been seeded are kind of hoping, don't give us them. But all of these teams are really strong, so I think they'll be hoping to see the best of a bad situation.
What I can say is I want Chile for Group A and China for Group G.
I'm shuffling, and let's seal the deal for Group A, I think.
So your fates are about to be decided, everyone else.
Prepare the guillotines. We are having in Group A.
Come on.
Indonesia.
Damn it.
all right. Is this one mine, JBH?
Yeah, I sure go for it.
All right. Indonesia is one of our top contenders, guys. And during the past years, they've always been one of the strongest teams. When it comes to hidden, they've got it. As well as hard rock, they're on top of it. With Deceitful being one of their all-rounders for most every situation, Indonesia is one of those top countries where they enjoy playing under stress. You got stress, they love it. Give them some more of it. They're going to do just fine. And they're absolutely scary. So Group A is looking absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so a bit more on Indonesia. They won the winners bracket finals last year, and then China popped up back out of the losers bracket and clutched the win in the last moment. So they were runners-up. I really do believe that this could be their year to push that last extra step. They have a really strong team, absolute monsters all across the board, and consistency is just definitely a strong suit for them. So they should definitely be considered one of the favorites.
People are already flipping their stuff. When I observe them flying, literally like, oh god, go away from my group. No South Korea, no Japan, no US. US must be G and whatever.
Oh, man. This is the best part, because now these spins are like literally sealing fates for some people. Like, oh man, the pressure.
The drama's just building up here.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine playing. Like,
The emotions are boiling over.
I kind of want to just keep it
Jesus
rolling.
with you.
Just keep it rolling and rolling, just build up the suspense and the tension.
Yeah, I actually love that. I'm a sadistic, I suppose.
And your fates in Group B are going to be sealed by...
Drum roll. Insert drum hole here.
Pause for dramatic effect.
Okay, no, don't stop that. Okay, we have Poland.
Okay, so Poland rocking up into Group B. They've got some of the strongest team that are currently around. They've finally managed to string together their best players all at the same time. They're pretty well covered on all mods, especially Hidden and Hard Rock. DT, not their strongest suit, but definitely no mugs in that field, definitely able to perform. Some players such as Vampire also live up to great tournament performance reputation. Top three is definitely within their grasp with the players they've got on hand this year.
All right. Yeah, Poland's always been pretty consistent. I mean, throughout World Cups, even when we go outside of our catch mode that we're in here, they've always kind of had a presence in the World Cup. So it's pretty interesting to see how well in that they're high seeded in catch as well. All right.
Now the group we've all been waiting for, the stacked monster group of death.
I know my luck and I'm gonna draw South Korea or China. It can't be anything else.
Give him the power, Locktab. You got the touch.
Everyone's gonna cry rigged.
Yeah, I'm literally just pressing 2 buttons. It's not like an ape could do that, but
So do we need to send you bananas?
yes, please. I love myself doing my annual ration of banana.
I actually recently started eating plantains, like the baby bananas, and they are really good.
We shouldn't start another topic while this.
Oh no, I was
we'll
just
let this
waiting
go.
for the shuffle.
And they're like, "Oh God,
when will this
stop it already!"
When will this pressure
we
end?
are having the United States.
Yay, the U.S. boys. All right. They're a pretty consistent team in previous years, and the U.S. manages to cover most of its bases in terms of mod selection. And we should expect to see significant significant progress this year as well. Captained again by Zach and a few other returning experienced players as well. They'll surely be hoping to push a step further into the grand final at this attempt. They have really good hard rock coverage and strong HD coverage. And those really, their 2 strong pillars there are Trent and Zach. And if everything goes as planned, I think Zach, if they make it to the grand finals, Zach will be actually playing the grand finals here. If I'm not 12 feet underwater.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
So, their
US
average rank is 68.
The United States are one of those teams that have always looked super strong in the early stages, but as the tournament's gone on, their kind of luster has faded a little bit for whatever reason. So this year they're looking to really put a stamp on their performance and not falter in the later stages, I think.
Very much so. And now we get to see Group D.
Group D is gonna get who? Oh, the tension.
China.
France.
The thrill. In Group D, we are gonna have South Korea.
Group E is for
wow.
X-Gon.
This is gonna be fun because we've got like 3 countries in one place and then Mexico.
People flipping their shit.
South Korea, obviously very strong team, very capable hidden hard rock players. The team is pretty much covered on all mods, with DT being weakest, although weak by South Korea standards is still at a very high level.
In brackets, weak.
I wouldn't expect anything less than kind of fairly crushing victories early on and a strong performance in the later stages from them.
Okay, to put a number on that, when we say weak, their average rank is 27. So that's kind of scary.
Yeah. South Korea has always been pretty scary, but they are always facing severe competition in the later stages, so I wouldn't be too premature with telling that they will win everything.
Oh, for sure. I just assume. I hope you guys like sweep-ins, because we're probably going to have a couple of those.
No, actually in Catch there are usually less sweeps than in all other World Cups, simply because everybody is very good at this game. Even especially in lower stages where stuff is still easier, they are more able everybody to full combo everything.
Yeah, and then you get those super clutch. You missed one droplet, you win.
Yeah, well, on that topic,
One banana win.
South Korea came second in their group in 2016 after losing that great tiebreaker with Hong Kong. Then they lost to Germany in round of 16 and had to fight their way back up through the losers bracket, eventually falling to China in the losers bracket final. So definitely don't.
And the year before that,
they
the year before that, they faced Germany in the grand finals and didn't win as a sweep. They win by 7-5 or something, 7-4. So it was really, really close. It was never ever clear that South Korea will dominate, even with XCON in the team, that they will dominate, without any doubt.
That said, they're definitely the most hyped team of the tournament with XCON returning.
They are the strongest by statistics, but playing in a multiplayer game where you only have one attempt to play is by far different than playing in solo where you can retry as much as you want.
And that's the great thing about the World Cup. You can see all these crazy upsets and teams coming out of nowhere to storm to victory.
All right. That being said, the shuffle has started for Group E.
Yes. And we are having in Group E the Amazeballs team of Japan.
All right. Now, Japan's actually got a really strong roster for this year's CWC. Japan was able to assemble their A-team, basically. With some scary names lurking around, such as Ik, Noracat, and Sirike, being well known for some really ridiculous plays. Their main strengths are going to be Hidden and Nomad, but again, like we said with South Korea, they're not really weak on any particular mod, but if you had to go out there and say something, Double Time probably might not be as strong as their Hidden, and their Hard Rock plays are not nearly as good as their Hidden as well. Their main strengths are definitely Hidden and Nomad. Very consistent team.
They have a great Double Time player in EKR who's been putting on some insane plays recently, but I've yet to see if the rest of the team will be able to keep up with them. So one player carrying a team is a thing of the past from this tournament, so we don't know whether they'll be able to really bring everyone together when it counts.
All right, and now we will be seeing who's joining Venezuela, Norway, and Germany in Group F.
Group F, we are still having France, Chile, and China. Please not China. My schedule is already horrible enough.
Get France for Group F. Come on.
I'm fine with Chile. Or France. Let's see, we are having Chile. Oh, perfect.
Okay, so Chile are slotting into Group F. They're really going to be looking to put the disappointment of what was pretty much a shock first-round exit in 2016 with a much better performance this time around. They've made only one change to their roster, and typically, again, they've excelled at Hidden Hard Rock, with also some handy performances in DT from Quit User, among others. So, provided they receive a little fortune from the drawings, I think we're going to see a really strong performance from them again this year.
Yeah, and not to mention, Chile's always been pretty strong. Last year was crazy. I didn't actually expect that to happen the way it went down, but, you know, stuff happens. But, hopefully they did get a little bit of fortune here in the drawings, and they'll be able to climb just as easily as they need to. Now we will see who's going to who's going to join the big boys in Group G for Canada and United Kingdom.
I'm quietly praying for France here.
Yeah, for my schedule, I want France. But
I'm loudly
actually
playing. I'm loudly going for China. Go China.
I always managed, regardless of how retarded. I shuffled this out, so here we go. Here goes my knight, and we are having indeed China.
Yes. It's a fun quick fact. They have the best.
Here goes my
drink.
night shift. Yay!
They have the best ever drink in the tournament. Actually, only just. They I think this is 27.2, as opposed to South Korea's 27.3.
All right. So for information on China, they were our first place winners last year, and they might just be able to do it all over again this year. They are a little bit lacking in hidden, their best being Nagi and Kalanet, but Kalanet being a little stronger in tournaments. Otherwise, they have a really strong combination of players in all mod aspects. Consistency and team depth may be the most valuable assets of it all. We might see a repeat. China definitely looks to try to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less than a strong performance from China this year, to be honest. I think, do they have an unchanged team from 2016? I'm just going to check that. Okay, they've swapped out a couple of players, but their core team of Dusk, Nagi, and Crystal are still hanging around. I really don't see them making any kind of major slip-ups, though I could be surprised. They're pretty well covered on all bases, and yeah, I think these are the team that the rest of the countries are going to be most afraid of.
And obviously, we are going to have France in Group H. No big secret here. So, what's about them?
Okay, so France's main strengths will be probably hidden, hard rock and double time, with hidden maybe not being quite so much of an asset for them. Despite having a pretty new and fresh setup compared to 2016, I think they still have the power to get pretty far in the tournament. But consistency might be an issue from previous iterations with effectively a brand new team. I'm not sure how much tournament experience some of these guys have, so it'll be interesting to see how they adapt.
All right, and with that being said, I do believe all of our grouping is done now, and you can see our 8 groups here, and all of our teams have been sorted. I do believe here in just a little bit, after some prep, we will be going over our group stage map pool showcase as well, and GBH Hyperion will be going over those map notes in depth. But before we do that, let's kind of talk a little bit more about the tournament. While we let him get set up, we are able to actually announce our prizes here, and they are confirmed, double confirmed. I'd even say
triple. I asked like 5 minutes ago again.
Okay, so triple confirmed even. So now, for one of the first times in our World Cups, we are able to actually announce the prizes out, and you guys will know exactly what they are. So for our first place winners this year, they will receive $300 per user. For our second place winner, they'll receive $160 per user, and for our third place winners, they will receive $80 per user. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be flat cash or gift cards or whatever that is.
PayPal usually.
PayPal, okay. And you'll
Whatever,
also
Alipay or whatever they use in their country.
yeah, of course. And we'll also be receiving special edition pins and a thermal tumbler. Oh yeah. I'm a little salty about the thermal tumbler because I got a coffee cup. A thermal tumbler sounds amazing. But those are going to be the prizes for our contestants this year. And that's
on top of that, we also have the profile badges we give to the entire podium, like always, and the title O's to Catch champion for the entire year for whoever wins this competition as profile title for the forums and the entire platform, basically.
And
so the stakes are high.
I would say the fruits are high because steaks are meat, but
And yes, the money is per person.
Yes.
To reconfirm.
And I do believe after the group stages, we will be doing banners for people that want to support the teams as well, correct?
Yes, we're gonna have profile banners up with the round of 16. Because we consider the group stage more as a qualification stage.
Yeah, not only that, it's just 32 banners, and for people to get knocked out within the first week, I mean, I'd feel bad.
Yeah, for that we are going to have put up the profile banners. You can purchase in those who store from the round of 16 onwards, like we do for every competition. And with that being said, I will shift over to preparing stuff.
Alrighty.
Secret stuff.
Map pool showcase stuff.
Yeah, we'll be getting into our map pool showcase here shortly. Until then, we're just going to be waiting for Locktab to do all that behind the scenes awesome stuff. So with all of our teams set into place, JB, how are you feeling about what matchups are you really looking to see here?
Okay, so I'm really looking to see the kind of low and high seed teams throwing some upsets, because I think although all the top seed teams are traditionally really strong, some of them have had a few roster changes, noticeably France and Germany among others. So I'm not saying that there's going to be some slip-ups, but I think there's definitely potential for slip-ups there for some of the less seeded teams to sneak through into the round of 16 and the knockout finals. So I'm looking for a bit of mixing up and interesting matchups that we won't have seen before to really generate some excitement.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. I mean, one of the things I do want to see is a couple teams, they didn't really get the good end of the stick. We saw a lot of stuff kind of go on the wayside because of scheduling and stuff like that. And I really hope that we get to see a couple teams not have to worry so much about scheduling. But yet again, this year, just like any other year, we do have a couple that are down to 3-man rosters or 4-man rosters, so they don't really have that wiggle room that you'd really like.
Yeah, so on the topic of 4-man teams, obviously Romania, as I said, are going to be a team that are going to be, I think they're going to be quite exciting. I'm interested to see how they perform in their first ever World Cup, not just for OSCatch, but across all game modes.
Very much so. Okay, so while we're waiting here,